You know when I'm triggered, and you know when I don't understand things, and I am grateful for the freedom that I'm allowed by the team and by the bosses to act as a kind of conduit through which London can be investigative and be triggered and all of that. The government has set out proposals for major changes to the welfare system. I am fascinated by how people who have challenges are affected by it. Somebody who works now as a campaigner for Inclusion London and a London Fire Brigade Community Forum member is a personal mate and mate of the show, Adam Gabsi. Adam, how are you, fella?
I'm very good. How are you, Eddie?
I'm all right. Thank you for taking my late invitation. But I've seen it. I listened to a little bit of AP this morning. I know you've been two-timing with him and their team. Don't think that I don't listen to the radio. You're supposed to be on with me. I don't see you across all the radio. Anyway, we'll do that. We'll do that private. That's why your team doesn't get any blessing. Anyway,
no, it's fine. Don't worry. It's fine. I think AP dealt with Ellen really well earlier on, and their interview was really good. So
I think it was good. But what it told me is that this thing is real. So hold on a minute. Sure. You can do the campaigning guy as well, or do it from a personal thing. When you hear it's in the sights of the government, how does it make you and the people that you campaign on behalf of feel?
I thought it's very easy to punch down, isn't it, Eddie? And we kind of feel attacked, disabled people, right? So why are they coming for us rather than punching up? Yeah. At Inclusion London, we're proposing a wealth tax. Yeah. And that will only affect 0.04% of people with assets over £10 million. Yeah. To pay 2% levy on assets worth more than £10 million. This is how you generate money. Yeah. You don't make people feel, stress, you don't make people
but
feel...
talk to that bit of it, because I in truth I can talk to the campaigning guy anytime I want. Talk to me, how has it been making people feel?
Really, really stressed me. I woke up this morning feeling it was going to be a long day. Yesterday I was checking on people, making sure they're eating, because people were glued to the government announcement, self-care wasn't great yesterday. People generally are anxious. What's happening? It feels like, we are being attacked. And, stories go hand in hand, right, Eddie? So after I speak to you, I have to record another thing with regard to access on the transport system. How are they telling disabled people we need to work when there are still issues with the transport system? There are still issues generally across London with different things, and it feels like a vilification of disabled people, that they're coming for us very hard, to be fair, and they're tightening up the process. Experts are warning that 1.2 million disabled people could lose between 4.2 thousand and 6.3 thousand per year due to the changes that are being proposed.
Well, the aim is to save... Give me a second, cool. Adam, because the aim is to save 5 billion. I want to know if you're going to be affected, and I want to ask you a couple more questions. I'm going to find out first what's happening on the roads. Just to let you know, that's Adam Gabsi, who himself is disabled. And I'm sorry, Adam, when we come back, I will ask you to articulate your own challenge, because we have more and more people, new people, and they won't know. But this is about some of the biggest changes. It's like huge welfare reforms. It will affect a lot of people, and we'll find out how some of the people who are affected feel about it straight after we've heard what's happening on London's roads from Lou.
Make a difference.
This is BBC Radio London. My name's Eddie, and we're talking about biggest changes to welfare, I think, in a generation. Adam Gabsi's on the show. He works with people with challenges. He has challenges of his own. Adam, can you articulate, and I'm sorry that I ask you to do this almost every time we meet, but I hope you understand why.
Of course. I have multiple sclerosis. I have had it since 2007. I became a wheelchair user in 2012. It is a big change So prior to 2007, I was walking. You wouldn't be able to identify me as a disabled person until 2012, when I was unable to deny the impairment. I had to sit down, and I look at my wheelchair as kind of like a blessing, because it makes me easily identifiable, as a disabled person who needs assistance, whereas there are numerous people who are not wheelchair users, and the eligibility of PIP is tightening. Universal credit, the benefit system, is becoming incredibly judgmental.
It wasn't sustainable, Adam. 1,000 people a day, a huge increase since the pandemic. It wasn't sustainable.
I'm not sure where that 1,000 a day stat comes from,
Well,
but
it comes from the secretary.
Okay.
It comes from the Secretary of State, West Streeting. That's where it comes from.
Okay, it's interesting. It's unsustainable, so they say, but there is constantly money for when they need money. So they can withdraw money where they need it. As I said, they're punching down. So they're affecting people. They're pushing poorer people further into poverty, rather than introducing a wealth tax, which will only affect 0.04% of the population with assets of 10 million.
What about the idea that a government should be encouraging people where possible to go to work?
Yeah, wonderful if the work was there. Yeah, it's an interesting concept, actually, Eddie, because fully remote jobs are not available. So you cannot work from your home. So if you have a severe stomach issue like myself, the work is not really there. I don't even know what's being suggested. And also access is an issue with regard to housing, transport, all systems.
But they're saying that all of these will be better dealt with if they can save more money. She's put her fiscal rules in place. And I mean, certainly, I'm waiting for it, and maybe we'll talk again, but the spring statements next week, as I understand it,
Wednesday,
where we'll get much more detail. Do you know how you're personally going to be affected?
No, as I said, mate, I think my wheelchair is a blessing. So people can look at me and easily identify me as a disabled person. But speaking about next Wednesday, Eddie, you should join Disabled People Against Cuts and Inclusion London on the streets of London, meeting at Downing Street at 11 a.m.
You know I'm not a campaigner, right? You know you know the rules better than me. You know I'm not allowed to campaign. You know, fine. I can listen to people, which I want to do, to people who perhaps often don't get heard. But my absolute job is not to campaign. You know that.
No, I know you're incredibly neutral. Yeah, and I know your show is incredibly unbiased and neutral. But I am now appealing to disabled people and allies. Yeah, they're discussing this issue in Parliament on that day. So I think disabled people need to join us at Downing Street 11 a.m. next Wednesday and rally for what is right. Yeah, which is not these cuts and, you know, it's not punching down and treating disabled people as if we're the enemy.
I don't think it's the end. I think I'm looking at it now, and I know there was this announcement was supposed to come last week. Huge battles in cabinet, and I think it will carry on. I think when we see the detail next week, we'll have another conversation. But on behalf of those people that you help, that support, and the people that we want to get into work, we want to feel like valued members of society. I want to say thank you for what you do, Philip. We'll talk again soon, yes?
Thanks, mate. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you.
God bless. Adam Gabsi there. And Adam is a co-chair of Inclusion London and London Fire Brigade Community Forum member.